3, 2, 1. Welcome into Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And we have an excellent show for you guys today. We get to talk about football that actually happened recently.
Yes. And me and John are just riding a wave of happiness because both of our teams are 1-0 and look damn good.
I'm 3-0 in all three of my leagues. I'm very happy fantasy-wise.
I went 3-1 across 4.
Yeah. In one of my leagues, I played somebody with just a terrible team, and I had the most points in the league, and the guy I played had the least amount of points in the league. So it's like I would have beaten anybody, but he wouldn't have beaten anybody.
Yes.
Can't remember who I played. That was who was that?
Wasn't me.
It was
me. That was the one where I went 3 and that was my one.
Yeah.
That team is ass. Team is hot ass.
Well, I think you started CD, Rogers, just pretty much everybody who busted.
Yeah, you talk about having a bad week 1. I had a bad week 1.
You had Saquon though. That's your saving grace.
I mean, I was talking about our actual teams and your Dolphins and my Vikings though. So
I went a different way with it.
Yeah,
I went a different way with it. That's on me.
I had 3 wins in other leagues. I'm fine with that. I did good. It was productive.
Dolphins, could they be good?
Yeah, we should be good. Yeah,
we have the personnel. We have the Patriots defense, which we know has been great for years. Schematically, we have the Patriots defense and the 49ers offense. And like schematically speaking, those are like I would say probably the best offensive scheme and the best defensive scheme on one team. And weirdly, we've just never seen it because those are two completely different coaching trees that have been combined in Miami. We have pretty much built that defense for the past 3 years. One of the best, I really honestly believe one of the most talented defenses in the league with like no superstar name. Well, I mean, we have Xavier Howard. We have a couple star names. And then offensively, I mean, you guys know the weapons. I'm low-key excited. I'm scared about how excited I am.
Hit the waddle. Come on,
I'm not gonna hit the waddle. I'm not gonna hit the waddle. No. I mean, look, I think it's the best. It's the best move out there. Honestly.
You're gonna have to hire somebody to carry your coach's balls around though for going for it on 4th and 7 like that.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Before half too. It's not even like it was in a critical moment, other than keeping that drive alive.
You were crushing them too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and he knew he could sense the vibe. It was like, you know what, we've been doing a lot better than this team. Why are we gonna go into half?
Yeah.
Still in this ball game, send it.
I was listening to the post game conference, and they were talking about how they came to a conclusion that they felt like they knew what kind of look they were going to get for a certain formation, and if they got that look, they were gonna send it. If not, they were gonna let it go down. So they got the look that they liked, and it worked out great. But anyway, we'll get into the show here. We are going to be doing some guess the lines on bovadasportsbook.com. We'll do. I think we did it last week. I think it's interesting. We might start doing it every week. Not sure. Still waiting on the reports on if people actually like it or not. But we'll make a same game parlay for Thursday night. Do people like it? I don't know yet.
Do people listen? Are they out there? We said from the beginning, if no one listens to us, then we don't give a fuck. We do this for ourselves.
Yeah.
We're conceited. We don't care.
We just listen to ourselves. We talk and then play it back.
Yeah.
We get 2 views a week, guaranteed.
Hell yeah.
But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna look week 1. It's very interesting to look at targets, look at snap shares, stuff like that. So we're gonna kind of play a little game of guess the target share. So I have it up here. You're gonna kind of do your best not to look at the screen, but I kind of have it hidden here so you can't really see.
If it's the other screen, no, I can't.
Yeah, you can't see that at all. Yeah. So it's not gonna work perfect. But
neither can the people at home.
Yeah, no, you can't see shit. All right, who got the most targets in week 1? Who do you think it was?
Can you give me a number?
17.
Holy God.
Yep.
17 targets?
Was a losing team.
I'm going to say Devontae.
Devontae Adams?
Yeah, I'm going to say Devontae.
17 targets. I don't have his... Let me click on his thing. Don't look at the screen. Don't look at the screen.
You're good. Yeah. Devontae got like 130 yards, 130. I saw the stat on Devontae, not targets, but yards. He outperformed every Packers wide receiver yard wise. Yeah. So think
10 receptions, 141 and a touchdown. Yeah, that was a good week.
The Packers got 110-ish. So yeah, Aaron Rodgers might miss him a little bit.
Yeah. Number 2. Okay, so yeah, there's one guy tied like by himself with the second most targets. Was at 16. Who do you think it was? A winning team this week.
A winning team?
Winning team.
Okay, I was about to say Michael Pittman, so I was going to be wrong because I knew Pittman.
He's in the top 5.
Pittman had a good day.
He's in the top 5. Well, actually, let's change it that way. We'll go top 5. You know, number 1. We'll go top 5.
What is
13 or more
5?
targets.
Okay.
13 or more targets. Pittman had 13, tied with one other guy. There was one guy with 15, one guy with 16.
Contrary to popular belief, you might think I'll say JJ, but I know he went 9 for 11.
Only had 11 targets. That's funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Devontae. And we already said that one.
Devontae was number 1.
Pittman probably is in there.
You got 1 and 4. Yeah. Well,
4.
Pittman's technically tied with another guy at 13, so 4 or 5, however you want to look at it.
Heard. How many shockers are up there?
No shockers, all stars.
Cup.
All number 1s on their team. Yeah. Cup was at 15, so he was 3rd most targeted this week.
Kelsey?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
No Kelsey.
All wide receivers, all wide receiver 1s, and I think it's you might argue with one of them, but I think they're all wide receiver 1s. I think you could agree with it now.
Agree with it now?
Yeah.
Why you gotta say some weird shit?
Well, I mean,
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown has 13.
AJ Brown had a damn.
For those of you who didn't listen,
Jacob Eat Crow week.
Yeah, we had a little bit of an argument on who the number 1 was there and how significant of an impact AJ Brown was going to have. We're gonna put that in the winners column over here with John Camacho.
I undersold it. I get to take a victory lap with my guy Saquon Barkley, though.
Big win.
Yeah. I mean, I said he'd be RB1, and guess what? He was RB1. Back to it though. I'm missing one. I've done pretty good so far.
You're missing one. You're gonna feel dumb when you realize who it is.
Oh well, then Reek.
Nope.
Okay, no Reek.
Reek had 12. So I had more than.
It's gotta be a unanimous top. Oh, Jamar. Jamar got hyper targeted.
Jamar Chase at 16, 1 less than Devontae Adams.
Wow.
I want to go through here, so I'm gonna put it on the screen here for you as well, just to go through and kind of look at the surprising names that are claims probably just went through, but what are the fantasy implications or just gambling implications. We talked about one at the gym earlier today. Greg Dortch got 9 targets with Arizona, probably wide receiver 2. Now, granted,
crazy, isn't it, to think that Hollywood and all of what that hype was supposed to be? And I lost money on Hollywood. I put that he was going to score, be over 100 yards. I thought he was going to have a coming out party. Gregory Dortch is the guy who has the most yards and targets and
7 receptions, 63 yards, had a 24 yard reception as well. So I'm thinking a lot of those were close to the line of scrimmage, but that doesn't matter where you get them.
That's a good 15 points.
Yeah, that's a great. And then from a fantasy perspective, or from a gambling perspective, I mean, if his line's at 3.5 this week, I'm gonna slam the over. And I know that's a week 1 overreaction or whatever, but if I get the right line on what his expectation is, this is a name that's not a lot of people really know about, and if there's a line for him, I would think it's going to be lower than maybe what it should be.
And seeing that he got the opportunity, because he's been around the league for I think 2 or 3 seasons now. He's only played in 7 games, but he got the opportunity. He had the catches. Yeah, they got the crap kicked in, and Rondale Moore's most likely going to be back healthy for this game, so you won't see as many for Dortch, you could assume. But I mean, still though, I think that's one of the guys. Another guy that I wanted to talk about, Donovan Peoples-Jones. I was hearing so many different names on waiver wire ads. I didn't see his name once, and I was going to look at the stats. He got targeted 11 times. I feel like it was a quiet 11 because I really didn't notice it that it was in that volume. But I mean, you talk about Amari Cooper and different guys on the Browns. I mean, Kareem Hunt. I don't know if you can call it vulturing touchdowns when he's that good. I mean, but from Nick Chubb. But that offense, DPJ might be a guy you can get late and see if.
Yeah, I mean he outproduced the other wide receiver on that team, and I look at 11 targets, 6 receptions for 60 yards. The stat line itself isn't crazy, but this is a big physical receiver too. He's gonna get in the end zone. The fact that there weren't any touchdowns, kind of like you said, a quiet 11 targets, might be one of those guys that go grab him if he's still on the waiver wire, because he's a dude who's nobody's talking about him, and it's not like he's not going to get touchdowns.
Yeah, wide receiver 1s get 6 to 8 catches, plus their whatever yards that may be.
Yeah.
And then the occasional touchdown. You give him that occasional touchdown, and we're talking, that's low-end wide receiver 2 numbers on that team, for what it's worth. I said that Browns receivers in general will be touchdown dependent, because that's why I was kind of staying away from Amari. I just don't think that team's going to score a lot of touchdowns through the air.
Yeah, I want to know what Amari Cooper. Amari got 3 receptions for 17 yards.
Ooh.
That's rough for Amari.
That's another one of those week 1 fantasy busts. And I guess we can kind of segue into it talking about different guys. Did you have anyone on your team that underperformed? Because you talked about my team.
My team was pretty solid across the board. I had a great team.
I had Kyle Pitts, Aaron Rodgers, Adam Thielen, Akers in one league.
Akers was rough. Who was?
CeeDee Lamb.
My underperformers happened early. I had Thursday night underperformers with Stafford and Allen Robinson. I had Allen Robinson in 2 leagues, so that's 2 out of my 3 leagues. I really believed in him. Yeah, that was a rough one.
That's a bad way to start because you'd be sitting there looking at 12 points combined.
Yeah, I was stressing for sure. I was stressing. I think it's too early. I don't want to overreact to the underperformers just yet. I think it's more interesting to see the guys that are getting targets early on, because week 1 is the easiest to overreact because we have 1 week of data, and 1 week, if you can pick 1 week out of any week last year and come up with a lot of very incorrect conclusions, right? It's very easy. The NFL is so fickle, weird things happen every week. So it's I don't want to overreact to any of it, but it is interesting when guys like Zay Jones, DJ Shark, Robbie Anderson all had 8 and 9 targets.
Kyle Phillips,
the 5th round pick for the Titans, way outperformed what was supposed to be the number 1 guy and Robert Woods. And I'm not ready to completely write off Robert Woods. I did have him in 1 league on my bench that he way underperformed what I was kind of expecting. I thought he'd be a solid 10-point guy a week. Not the case at all.
Same for Traylon in that game. It was kind of alarming for me. We were both watching that game and seeing not only Kyle Phillips being targeted, but seeing that he looked like he was the primary option on a lot of important key downs, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, running, corner routes for the first down, doing these drags, getting extra yards. You kind of got Robert Woods for that. You drafted Treylon Burks. You decided not to pay A.J. Brown, not so a guy like Kyle Phillips could be your guy. It was a little different on the Titans scheme as a whole, but like I said, 9 receptions for him is one of those things that I'm probably going to end up fading just because, like we said, that's a week 1 overreact,
Absolutely agree. Another thing I want to look at, running back snap percentage, right? And just how many times are they on the field in a game? Very interesting week 1. Your number 1 guy, Saquon Barkley, got 83% of the snaps, so he was the clear number 1.
He looked damn good.
That's what, anything over 60 is a true RB1. So that's something to keep in mind here. Handful of guys, right? Darrell Henderson is the biggest surprise. He comes in at number 2 at 82%. Gotta wonder what's going on with Cam Akers. Everyone said that everything coming out of the Rams, media and everything was saying that it was going to be a 1A, 1B type of conversation. I guess it wasn't implicitly said that Akers would be 1A, but it's certainly looking like Darrell Henderson at the very least is 1A. It might just be
Akers got 3 snaps. Do you have any shares of him?
No. But I would have.
I do.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be able to acquire Darrell Henderson as well, so I at least have that for what it's worth. But oh my God, McVay said he needs to see more urgency out of Akers, and I saw a play out of 3. He was in there for 1, and he was supposed to pass block.
Yeah, got broken the fuck up.
And there was one where he goes to engage the block and backs out, almost makes a business decision, and lets Stafford
can't do that.
Killed.
Yeah.
And the second that happens, it's like, you're out. And McVay,
you're done.
Maybe he's proven a point, but I can point to a guy who's one of his good friends in Kyle Shanahan who did the same thing with the Brandon Ayuk, and I was like, oh, he'll bounce back. I waited a whole year for it.
Yeah, and it hasn't truly happened. Let's keep going down the list here with the running backs. No surprises, 3 through 5. Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor, all at over 75%. Leonard Fournette, a little bit of a surprise to me, over 75%. Did I just go out? Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it was my headphones when I don't know. I couldn't hear anything. The Leonard Fournette, it was kind of interesting. I was listening to a Fantasy Footballers podcast, and they were talking about how he went out at the very end of the game, and Rashad White, I think, came in.
Yeah.
So don't know if there's an injury thing there. Very mild thing, but just something to think about. Joe Mixon, over 70%. Rex Burkhead and Rashad Penny, I think, are actually interesting names to talk about here. Rex Burkhead, again, this is another thing I was saying to you, any other running back, any running back under 30 has the type of game that he had week one, Rex Burkhead would be the number one fantasy pickup. Everyone would know his name by now. It would be the biggest thing. But, he's older guy. We're still expecting Pierce to come in. Is this just kind of a blip on the radar a little bit with him early on getting the majority of the snaps, majority of the carries, majority of everything, basically?
No, I'm really going to sit here and say I'm going to buy this one. I'm going to buy it for the fact that, yes, Dameon Pierce should eventually eclipse it in usage rate being out there. But listen, Lovie Smith's an older guy. He's he respects a veteran mindset that's out there. He rested Rex Burkhead for 2 preseason games.
Yeah.
In order to get him ready, he did the same thing for Dameon Pierce. When he did that for Pierce, people were like, hey, he's the guy because he's clearly resting him for the offensive side. I didn't realize he was also resting Burkhead. So if you can get shares where you can, I think Burkhead has some short-term value right now.
Yeah.
Might want to take advantage of it.
When do you think this switches to a Dameon Pierce backfield? Week 6, week 8,
we just
week
need
10?
to see a time, maybe so I was surprised that the game script didn't go in Dameon Pierce's favor more.
Yeah.
The Texans got up. They got up and they got into a controlling spot where I felt like they could have used Dameon Pierce's skill set between the tackles more than Burkhead. I was wrong. They still relied on Burkhead. So out of that, I would say Burkhead holds it a little bit more.
So do you think Rex Burkhead gives up this backfield at any point, assuming health for both guys?
I think if it does, I don't see Burkhead getting less than a 40%.
Ever?
For this year. I'm kind of worried about it.
Then trade. If you have Pierce, trade him.
Yeah,
if you believe that, I don't.
I drafted Pierce as an RB2. I don't think that he's going to be able to do it. Now, the one below him in Rashad Penny, Kenneth Walker's hurt because of a hernia surgery.
Yeah, I think Kenneth Walker comes into
that's
that.
the one. I think that's the one where Kenneth Walker gets to get up in there.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but I'm a little worried about Burkhead.
Yeah, I go the other way. I think by week 6, this is Dameon Pierce's backfield. I think early on, I went and grabbed him in our dynasty league because he was on the waivers. I went and grabbed him for a week. I'm going to start him this week, but I don't imagine starting him for more than a week or two. And I think eventually we're going to see. Okay, now it's 50-50. Okay, now it's Rex Burkhead's the number 2 and he's getting 40. Okay, shit. Now Dameon Pierce he's shown enough big plays. He's getting 70%.
In my head, was only going to be out there for third down or maybe some pass blocking, chip block, catch a screen. A few PPR. That'd be it. Flex at most. Right now, some people are saying start him at RB2.
Really interesting. And I don't think we're going to see this, week over week. This is kind of a week 1 thing. You're playing your starters a little bit more, especially the running back position. Michael Carter coming in at the 21st most snap share at 59.5. I start there because I think that 60 number is kind of a good median point to kind of look at. But he's still the RB1 in New York, and he's also the pass catcher. So I think he got a lot of pass catching work. Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Chase Edmonds, Antonio Gibson, Patrick Richard with Baltimore, which was a big surprise.
Fullback.
Well, he's a fullback. Okay, so Cordell Patterson, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Derrick Henry, all those names in that 60 to 70% range. Some bigger surprises than others. Where you want to go with that?
Swift has the chance to win you your fantasy league. When you talk about his usage overall, he is electric. He really didn't get to touch. I don't know if he touched the end zone. Maybe once, I think.
I don't think he did.
I know he didn't because Jamal Williams vultured 2.
Jamal Williams got 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Give those to Swift as they rightfully should have. And we're talking about him being RB1 for the week as a whole.
I don't think that's ever going to happen, though. I think the team loves. I mean, just from watching Hard Knocks, I think we know the team loves Williams, and I think he's they view him as the goal line back. So I think that's gonna hurt him a little bit. And if I'm over on Bovada and I'm making any bets on running back usage, I think Jamal Williams is gonna be one of those guys that I'm gonna throw in there on some parlays because I like that he has that 30 to 40 yard floor. I think every week. I think
he has that role carved out for him exactly.
Yeah.
And you also want to keep Swift fresh. You don't want to run him straight into the ground weeks 1 through 6. You don't gain anything from that.
Yeah.
Team that I was surprised from the fight that they gave. And the way that offense kind of clicked was the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
Cordero Patterson, he was a guy who was falling so late in fantasy drafts just
Couldn't
because
agree more. Yeah.
we thought he was done. We didn't think the same thing would happen. Mariota played serviceable ball.
Mm-hmm.
The offense, Drake London looked pretty good considering a lot of rookies out there. Kyle Pitts, it didn't really fall his way in the game script. I have no problem that he's going to bounce back. If you were in a league and you can go buy him, I'm trying to. I would, no doubt. But Cordero looks like the guy. Tyler Algier is still banged up. He's not really finding a chance to even get out on the field. Your other guy's Damian Williams, who's 30 years old.
Yeah.
Can't do what Cordero can do at 31, 32, whatever he is.
Yeah.
If you can get him, I like that a lot. I mean, he looked damn good.
Last couple guys I want to talk about, farther down the list, injuries play a factor in both of these names. Jeff Wilson Jr. for San Francisco comes in after Elijah Mitchell gets hurt. That's an interesting name because that San Francisco backfield seems like there's an injury every week, and it always seems like Jeff Wilson is just right there ready to take the, to take over when there are injuries. Are you sold on him being the guy for the next 8 weeks while Mitchell's out, or do you think this goes to one of the rookies? You got an undrafted rookie in Jason Mason or something like that, Jordan Mason, something like that, and then of course the more notable name, Davis Price, or Davis Pierce, whatever his name was, who was like the 3rd or 4th round pick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say no. I do think that he is an asset worth having if it's on a waiver, depending on the range that you can get it. Now, we're in a fab budget league where you do the free agent bidding. We have a $150 budget, and a guy in our league put 77 on him. So, I mean, he went over half on Jeff Wilson. I don't think that he's going to get to reap that reward that Jeff Wilson could give you.
Yeah.
If you're in a tight running back spot, maybe a flex play. But I'll say this, I think Shanahan has a weapon in Trey Lance. He has a weapon in Debo, who we got to see him still stick to that running back wide receiver role. I know they have contract disputes on it and whatnot, but I mean, he looked happy in that role, and I don't think you can really gauge their offense last week because it was in an absolute shithole of a storm.
Yeah. I think he was in a situation, and just piggybacking on that statement, you give it to the guy you trust the most, implicitly, and that is obviously Jeff Wilson there.
But I don't, at 58% snap share, I think that's his peak of the year.
Really? Okay.
Well, I mean, it might go for the next week or so, but
I think somebody else is going to take over.
I mean, I see Trey Lance, at goal line situations. I see Debo getting that touchdown. Jeff Wilson might carry the ball for 12 times and get you 60 to 70 yards.
That's fucking good on 12 carries.
You better. Yeah, I know. I'm just being generous. You better hope he gets the touchdown. I don't see it being
consistent.
No.
Yeah. Other one is a Najee Harris who so he had the foot injury in preseason that was like kind of under the radar news. I don't know if a lot of people heard about it just because he didn't miss a whole lot of time because of it. And then there's another foot injury during the game, leaves the game, and then what the Steelers do, it's one of the best situations for running backs because when the Steelers have a backup, the backup goes into that starting role. It doesn't become a shared backfield by any means. That's Jaylen Warren. He's a guy who kind of blew up through free agency. If you're a Steelers fan, you know all about him because he's an undrafted rookie who took over that number 2 job and really earned it. I think a lot of people are learning his name now because he became the full-time starter. Looked good from what I saw. Didn't get a ton of rushing snaps, but you saw him in really big situations, coming up big in pass protection, coming up big, down the field blocking, things like that. And hey, that's an important. That's how you get the ball in your hand is doing all the other things that a running back needs to do. That doesn't add to the stat sheet. I went and tried to get Jaylen Warren everywhere I could. I had him in one league, just happenstance that I drafted him in my last pick and I held on to him. Now Najee hurt, might come back, might not. I think Jaylen Warren, if you have Najee, you got to go get him. Yes. Even if you don't, he's worth a flyer if you have a spot. What are your feels long term for Najee Harris? Are you nervous about that?
I'm nervous about Najee for short term for the next 2 weeks. So I like Jaylen Warren more than I like Jeff Wilson overall with the way that Pittsburgh is committed to running the ball. Now, I'll say this. If you can go over to Bovada and see whatever line they might give him, it might be a little juiced for Jaylen Warren. I would take the under. They're playing the Patriots this week. Yeah. They have just a monstrosity of a defensive line.
Big guys.
Their linebackers fly across the field all over north to south. It's going to be hard for Pittsburgh to really get going. I think it's going to be an ugly outing for them top to bottom. They got to play the Bengals on a Super Bowl slump. But if I would get Jaylen Warren, I mean, if you have a roster spot, no problem. If you have Najee, I'd be terrified. Just because of the injury, that type of thing can linger. And it's that, do we want him to come back to save my team, or do I want him to take 6 weeks off and then hope that I can have a healthy version of that? Because at the end of the day, Mike Tomlin doesn't give a damn about your fantasy team. He's going to care about his workhorse running back getting back healthy, and I don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting.
What was wrong with his foot? Was it just A sprain.
Let me look at the full thing, because like there's been a lot of reports. Actually, I'm gonna go to Pro Football Doctor, which is a cool little site that talks about injuries.
I'll do a quick aside on that one. The same team. It was, and it has no fantasy relevance. It just is really unfortunate for the game. T.J. Watt, he had just 2 dynamic back-to-back plays. I mean, jumping at the line. I think he had an interception in that game. He's just bulldozing guys all over the place, and in doing so, he's almost too damn strong. Throws the right tackle and has a torn pec. There's a chance that he doesn't need surgery in 6 weeks, but they're thinking all year. So what is it for Najee?
So running back. So the running back is dealing with a minor high ankle sprain, expected to suit up, but will not be 100% effective. I think that's interesting, man, because like, just from looking at the game, and I didn't watch this game super close, because I think I was watching my Dolphins play during the slot. He didn't seem like he was super efficient anyway. I think that injury was already bothering him. High ankle is very serious when it's a serious high ankle. If this is just minor, obviously he's going to try and play through it. I think it's worth noting. I don't feel like enough people are kind of talking about him, and then I think this website's wrong about the backup. It's definitely Warren is the backup there, but I mean, I don't know. That's something I'm keeping a really close eye on. I don't have Najee anywhere, but I have Jaylen Warren in a couple places, and I don't want to say I'm hopeful, but like, you know, it's interesting. It's definitely worrying.
That's an investment that could pay dividends, though.
I'll say you said you were talking about betting. I think if Najee's line isn't adjusted due to this injury, I'm betting the under on Najee, just based on the statistics and the possibility of re-injury with those ankle and foot injuries, and the efficiency that we're already expecting should be, you know, a little bit lower because of that injury.
Yeah, takes one play where all he does, and he didn't even have to say he's hurt, but they're watching him in the booth and they say, "Nah, get him out."
Yeah, like, I mean they have spies for that. They literally just watch the play and replay looking for injuries. That's all they do. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, you want to go to? We'll hop on Bovada and do some late. Some guess the line stuff.
Yeah, I mean, let's get ahead and look at week 2. You know, right. Sorry if we didn't get to touch about every single team out there, but
anywhere else you want to go that maybe we missed real quick?
It just depends. I mean, if we want to, Chiefs look damn good. I think it says more about the Cardinals overall.
Yeah, I'm worried. I think
you'll agree with me that Cardinals are going to be pretty bad.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Depending on if they're under 8-7 wins, it could be the end for Cliff. Really could with that with the young talent. I don't think it's the end. I think it's the beginning of the end for that. Russell had his reunion spoiled. Geno did very good for what it's worth against a defense like that. Very efficient. I don't think it was anything superstardom level, but he was. Listen, I had Seattle picking number 1 overall.
Yeah,
I thought they were just going to be devoid of talent, complete ass, and get mopped up in this game. And they handled the best of Russell and still won that game.
Yeah.
So I think it goes to show that they're probably going to be a 6, 7, 8 win team, just depending on how many home games they get to catch with the 12th man.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think that's a real thing for sure. All right, let's go into it. Thursday night, Chargers Chiefs. I think you already know this line. I think we were talking about it earlier. But guess the line here with the Chargers Chiefs.
I think I got to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to say 4.5 Chiefs.
Yeah.
And in saying that, I'm going to absolutely go on Bovada and slam the Chargers. Listen, the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, 5 touchdowns, 350, whatever it was. It was a damn good game, very efficient. Yeah. But I'll say this, I don't think that they got punched in the mouth yet. Mm-hmm. I know they haven't. The Cardinals did not have the defensive firepower. J.J. Watt out, losing Chandler Jones. The only guy of any relevance on that defense...
Safety,
Budda Baker. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, there's a few kind of sort
names.
Of, yeah, exactly.
But Isaiah Simmons has mostly been disappointing
but
so far.
At the end of the day, nothing compared to what the Chargers are about to bring on that defensive line with Bosa and Mack, who came out swinging. You have Asante Samuel Jr., who got player of the game, and then you have the other guy in J.C. Jackson. They have Kenneth Murray, Derwin James, name after name, to where this is going to be a close game. I'm taking the Chargers as the moneyline favorite with the underdog there. Mm-hmm. So you are the same. I feel safe in that. But, Chiefs going to get punched in the mouth.
Yeah. No, that's just, to me, I feel like this should be more of a coin flip than it is. You're giving the money line at plus 175.
Is it at KC?
It is at KC.
Okay.
But, at the end of the day, I'm not super worried about that. I'll take what I believe is a coin flip and take the solid odds there.
Yeah.
Carolina Panthers at the Giants. What do you think the line is there?
God, I don't know if I'm watching that one.
I think there's too many other good games on.
That's a different one.
Yeah.
At the Giants, coming off of a very exciting win, Dayball, along with your coach, 2 of the ballsiest moves that I've seen in a long time, opening up week 1 like that.
For sure.
I'm going to say Giants favored by 1.5.
Dead on.
Did I?
On.
Did I nail it?
Exactly.
There we go,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good one. Minus 1.5.
What would you take, though? If you had to. I wouldn't bet on it.
I'd take the Panthers. I would. I think the Giants are in that one of the situations where they're getting credit for a great play call, a great play about not play call. I don't think the play call was that awesome. The decision to go for it, I think, was a small. Awesome. Yeah. Saquon. I mean, I think there's maybe one or two other running backs in the league that get that first down. Two guys had him behind the line of scrimmage. He made them both miss, and then still was able to bulldoze in for the end zone. I think not a lot of guys make those guys miss, and then even fewer is able to bulldoze in at that 1 yard line and actually get in the way he did. So great player, great situation. Missed kick by the Titans. A lot of things went right for the Giants in that game in the second half that I think maybe one or two things go different, and then Giants got blown out by the Titans, and this line is, I think, very different. I think that's the way I would look at it.
I would say the same thing. I think the Panthers and C-Mac are really going to get things going. Saquon is going to have to be the reason that offense win games, because as many times as I've tried to defend Daniel Jones, man, it's running out, and Dayball doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, that was a bad interception in the end zone there. All right, moving on. Colts at Jaguars. Guess the line here for me.
Tie game against Houston. Jags close with the Commanders. 5.5 Colts favorite?
4.
And
I would take the Colts. I actually like the Colts to cover 4 points. I think that's
you're right.
off.
You're right, because listen, I mean, even though the Colts have a lot of week one woes in their history, they are a good team and a very, very good defense. And, Trevor, I don't know. I really like Trevor, though. I think he's been playing efficient. He really let that clock get to his head at the end of that game, though, and force something that
one
he didn't.
Bad throw.
Yeah. One bad throw dictates the rest of that game, though, and that's
Absolutely.
just how it goes. So the Colts' defense is a lot better than Washington's.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
if I had to pick, I wouldn't want to bet, but I would take Colts.
All right. Dolphins at Ravens. Last year.
Wow, that's a good game.
Dolphins at Ravens. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Just for some context, obviously I'm a Dolphins fan. I actually went to that game on Thursday night in Miami, where the Dolphins had been. Dolphins are 1-8 going into that game, and we were terrible. Yeah, we just couldn't win games down the stretch, and I thought it was going to be a blowout type of game. That was the start of our end of season heroics, where we were one game away from making the playoffs last year. We won 10 games last year, starting off 1-7, 1-8, whatever it was. Only lost one game after playing the Ravens. We only lost one game the rest of the year. Crushed the Ravens in Miami.
Damn.
Now we have to go to Baltimore. Ravens get their revenge game here. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know.
Revenge game. I'm gonna say that Bovada has it set. Ravens 2.5,
3.5.
3.5.
Which I think that's for a Dolphins fan who's used to seeing double digit favorites. I find that to be a compliment. Not a game I would bet on. I'm way too biased in this game to touch. I'll let you talk about it, but
I'll defend you, man. I like y'all on that one.
Yeah, I hope so.
Can you see money line odds right there?
Plus 160 on the Dolphins.
Not
quite enough.
I'd want a little bit.
Yeah,
more
not quite.
Because
it's not the same coin flip that I feel about the Chargers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
I see the world where you win that. Yeah. But yeah, no.
I think the over/under is interesting. 44.5 in a game that I think. I don't know. Yeah, I probably would take the over on that. I don't know. I don't know why that's.
Lamar had a lot of good passing plays.
A lot of
really
explosive
starting
plays.
To rein him in and save the legs a little bit.
Yeah.
So
you got to remember the Dolphins kind of wrote the script on how to stop Lamar and how to kind of slow that team down. Now it's been a year. Ravens have had a lot of time to prepare. I don't know if the Dolphins are going to come. That's the part that scares me. We dominated them all three phases of the game, absolutely crushed them, especially our defense. Are the Ravens going to come into this, prepared for that? And are the Dolphins not going to, are the Dolphins just going to try the same defensive game plan that worked last year? That kind of scare. I don't know, man. There's just a lot of elements to it.
Is your defense afraid that they haven't been popped in the mouth? I mean, I talked about KC and the Chargers, but listen, the Patriots, they have nothing to write home about. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You have a defensive mind who was playing offensive coordinator for Bill Belichick and Matt Patricia the other day, which I was kind of shocked about that. It's hard to question Bill's moves, but the way that game plan worked out, it was just so vanilla and dull. And if Damian Harris wasn't able to fight for a first down, where was it coming from? And it's like the Ravens have a lot of different ways that they can move the ball.
Yeah. I mean, the other part of it is Dolphins dominated on the back of 3 turnovers, right? Their first drive, the Dolphins were kind of the Patriots were moving down the field, actually playing pretty well. Xavier Howard, great defensive play, and then Holland was there to pick it in the end zone. That was kind of the start of the Dolphins' dominance. The other two, turnovers, I don't know if like really would have changed the game. Just field position. I think they were probably going off the field either way. But yeah, that's a real point of they haven't really seen an explosive play. They haven't had a big moment that they've had to come back from yet. They haven't. I mean, the Dolphins haven't been in a close game yet this year. So I mean, all those things definitely.
Week 1 hype. I will say this though:
sure.
the Patriots defense, I do think, is a lot better than the Ravens.
Absolutely.
Ravens have a lot of good talent, but the Patriots, in the way that they can scheme around, especially seeing y'all twice a year, I do think that's why I'd be willing to take the over in that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Speaking of the Patriots, move right along. Patriots at Steelers. What do you think the line is there? That's a weird line.
It's going to be a game that I listen. I'm going to be disrespectful here. I don't want to watch any part of that. Oh my God, I'd rather watch paint dry than watch those two.
Yeah,
offenses.
those two offenses.
It's
are
a battle
goal.
of field position. I think that's going to be a 13-10 game. Give me the Patriots, but I mean, picking a line 2.5.
1.5.
Yeah, it's
1.5. The over under is at 40. Yeah, I think in a teaser, and we might build a teaser together after this.
Bet on that under though.
I'm saying I would tease the under, so at 46. I don't imagine it going much higher than 40. I think that line.
But I would hate for a late touchdown to burn you somehow.
Yeah, that's a good point. You hate to you just in general you really hate to do an under on a teaser because you're stressing the whole game. But we'll move around. I mean, that's just me. I don't know.
Even if you have 13 at the half, which is good, you're still like
fuck.
damn.
So Jets Browns are next. This is an interesting one.
Wilson is still out. Right.
Wilson is definitely out. It is going to be Flacco this week. That is confirmed. I think the Jets will play better than they did last week.
He threw for 300.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but it was a lot of garbage time bull crap. I feel like because they lost that game in the first half. I don't know. This is a tough one where I don't really agree with the line on the Browns. I mean, obviously the Browns are favored. You know that. Guess the line, and then we'll discuss this for a second.
No, I'll be kind of bullish on it. I bet they put it at 5.5.
6. They put it at 6.
Wow, I mean I was being bullish.
That
is pretty. That's hefty. With Jacoby Brissett led.
Yeah,
they're
still a good team.
I know, but it's just hard to cover that whenever your main attack is power run.
Yeah, I don't imagine the Browns winning a lot of games in like a dominating fashion. That's what this line is saying. They're going to dominate the Jets.
I think they win.
Yeah,
but I mean,
this is one
on cruise control till they get Deshaun back.
This is one where the line is at 40, and I would probably go over. I do think this line will be over 40. So that's the same line as the Patriots Steelers, and I think it'll go a different way there. I think that over would hit. I think we're in the bowl. That's again not one I would bet on, but a very strange one. To me.
I feel bad for Flacco. That's really tough to have to go from playing the Ravens to bouncing to the Browns. I mean, that's
historically he's owned the Browns, but historically he's been on a different team, and the Browns were a lot worse than they are now. But worth mentioning. Sorry, I can't talk today. Buccaneers at Saints. That's an interesting divisional rivalry where I think we know who's favored, but I'm not going to give it away.
You already nailed it. I mean, Bucks should be favored in that game.
They are.
So I'll do line real quick. 3.5 Bucks.
2.5.
Yeah, I would take Saints.
Really? Yeah.
The Saints are 1-4 all time since Brady's been in Tampa. That one has come in the playoffs. That's it though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The Saints have the recipe on how to get to Brady, how to disrupt Brady, and I'm sorry, but I mean it's just one of those things. Their corners do really well against Mike Evans.
I think this is the big one where I'm like, okay, when we're building a teaser on Bovada later, let's take the Saints and as part of that teaser, right? Because I think we're gonna do that after this.
Yeah.
I think the Saints are one of my favorites for a teaser option. Just because maybe the Bucks do win that game, maybe the Saints just aren't quite but I think everything you said is absolutely accurate.
I mean, history says the Bucks should bounce back and get a regular season on them. Yes.
Yeah, but I do agree that like I think that game's a lot closer. I think that line is right. I think that game will be really close either way. So if I could tease that up to like an 8-point window, I would feel very, very good about it.
Were you surprised by Michael Thomas at all?
Yeah. Yeah,
I was too. You know,
I didn't expect that kind of production.
It's not going to be the type of volume that he was used to seeing with the Drew Brees.
Yeah.
But red zone wise, he's a monster.
Yeah, and he played. Yes. I mean, the way he caught those balls, it was very much a "Hey, I'm back" kind of
exactly.
conversation to be had. Commanders at Lions. This is one. Wow, I am very surprised by that line.
How favored are the Commanders?
I am very surprised by that line.
4.5 Commanders.
Lions -1.5. Lions are favored at home.
Damn.
Lions are favored at home over the Commanders.
I see it.
I would have said it's a coin flip game.
That's the line that I was the most wrong on so far, though. So I mean,
you were. Yeah, to be wrong on the favorite is the first time in 2 weeks.
And to be that far in the wrong too. I mean, I got to give Carson Wentz his props, man.
Yeah,
he
played well.
Really, really good,
had some like Carson Wentz-y moments, but at the end of the day,
that's probably the thing, isn't it? Because he had the bad pick.
Those moments.
Trevon Walker, number 1 pick, had his big moment, his play, and it's like Carson Wentz. I think he was 4th overall in passing, pretty efficient rating overall. But it's those ones that get away from you, that just keep the other team in it. And I mean, maybe Lions at home, they played good. They really did.
They really did.
In a shootout with the Eagles, who are now the by far Bovada betting favorites to take that division.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. All right, moving right along to the Falcons-Rams. This is the biggest line that we've seen so far.
Falcons home?
No, Falcons at Rams.
Oh, God.
Rams at home.
It's a get-right game.
Yeah.
It's a get-right if ever. 7.5?
10.5.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 10.5. Another one where I saw enough from the Falcons that I would probably I couldn't touch it because that could be.
I mean, where do they do it though?
That's a 30-3 game if I've ever seen it.
How do the Falcons do it, man?
Yeah,
there's no way that they're going to have that type of.
They played well. They played way better than I thought they would against the Saints. But week 1, you don't want to overreact. If I'm basing this on my preseason predictions, this is a game where the line is perfect, and I would still rather bet on the Rams than the Falcons. But I
mean, you don't bet on 10.5. You definitely don't bet on 10.5 after they got blown out.
Yeah.
But like you said.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, we said it earlier in an earlier segment. The week 1 is the hardest, or week 2 is the hardest week because you have the least amount of tangible evidence from this year. And we have 1 week and then our preseason bias basically. So it's very difficult to gauge which side of that to go on. I just wouldn't touch that game altogether. It'll be interesting.
I'm curious to see. I mean,
it's a game I'm interested in watching.
No joke.
Sure.
Yeah, it really could show the fight that the Falcons
what do we have, and how good are the Rams? Or have the Rams peaked? Like, how good are they? It's worth questioning.
They should kill them.
They lost to what we all said was the Super Bowl favorite team in the AFC.
Yes.
So it's like we can't overreact to the fact that like we said the Bills would be good and they came out and were good. Like that can't be ultimately very shocking.
And look at it like storylines.
Yeah.
Buffalo, in all of their greatness that was that game, lost in overtime because of a coin toss. They are pissed off, pants on fire, going for this thing. Yeah. The Rams won the Super Bowl, went on vacation, got a little fat on the offseason, like different things like that. They came into it a little bit of a lull.
Yeah.
Buffalo said, no, this is our Super Bowl right now.
This is another line, and I would argue almost the exact same storyline that I could tell from the previous game we just talked about with the Seahawks and the 49ers. I mean, very, very similar line. I'm going to give that away. Very similar storyline of a team that I think we thought both bird teams that we thought weren't going to be very good that are playing a team that we thought was going to be really good that lost. I mean, a very, very similar story to tell. I mean, same division as well with the 49ers and the Rams.
And San Fran.
And it's in San Francisco,
so good weather.
Yes,
they'll be so happy to see
Seahawks 49ers. I don't know if I get.
They'll be so happy to see good weather there because, I mean, that was a monsoon. I don't judge Trey Lance. I don't judge any of them for that. Yes, you would have liked to see it a little bit better, but, I mean, shit, what can you expect from that?
I completely agree.
You don't play in hurricanes.
Yeah.
I mean, same line. Is it? I think
it's not the same. It's similar.
6.5. San Fran.
9.5.
Wow, I'm taking Seattle.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I think Geno showed enough in that game.
Geno played well.
They're not going to win it. They'll keep it close, though.
Yeah, it's tough to bet. It's tough to bet on the team that you don't think has a chance to win, but will probably keep it close.
I'll bounce back and say, even though I don't condemn Trey Lance for that game, I do think that he's going to have some growing pains and the offense be a little slower, a little more underwhelming, probably an early field position battle, and Pete Carroll eats that shit up.
Yeah.
All day, every day. And when you have to cover
think-
9.5, if Seattle comes down the field and gets any points on their first possession, that's a dub right there in my book.
The over-under is at 41.5, so they're saying a low-scoring game. I mean, the implied win total is, I mean, less than 13. I mean, that's not a lot.
That's
a 30
to do,
yeah, that's, I mean, how does it even,
Seattle has to be under 14.
Yeah.
Almost mathematically.
The implied win total is like 14 to 24. So, I mean, or 26, I guess.
Yeah, Seattle's points is probably 16.5 if you were to bet on it.
Yeah, that's weird. Let's move right along.
He played good.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I thought Seattle showed something. I think I think that line's going to go down just because a lot of people are going to see it and be like, "No, Seattle played well. Let's bet on Seattle here." And the 49ers were very underwhelming. Cardinals, Raiders, another interesting one. I think the Cardinals proved what I believed coming into the season. I was very interested in that Cardinals Chiefs game. I didn't think the Chiefs would tear them up the way they did, but I did think the Cardinals were going to be a down team this year. Chiefs, I think overperformed my expectations, but a team that I think is in a down year going up against a Raiders team that I think should be pissed off about a loss that, I mean, is on Derek Carr, but because of the interceptions, but ultimately, at least kept that game somewhat close and was somewhat competitive for 4 quarters against a Chargers team that I really believe in. Again, it sucks to only have 1 week of data. It sucks to really not be able to talk too much about the scheme and everything, just because I don't know enough about what the Raiders are really wanting to do schematically yet, because with a new coach and all those things. I think at minus 5.5. I'm sorry, I didn't even.
No,
I'm so sorry.
I was going to do in the 4.5, 5.5 range. Okay. Though. I was going to say that the Raiders are a little bit lesser version of what the Chargers have built. I think they have a lot of good weapons out there, a good defensive line. Their secondary is a little lacking compared to what the Chargers are able to do. And like you said, the Raiders are pissed off, and I don't see anybody who's going to be able to stop Devontae. I don't see anybody who's going to be able to stop Darren Waller. If the Cardinals want to compete, they're going to need the best out of Kyler to be able to win in a shootout. So I have Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr. I'm thinking about playing Derek Carr in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We're gonna get to the Packers a little bit later, but yeah, I think that's a real conversation. Sorry, I looked at it and then I just had all these thoughts. And I just let them spew. We'll actually do it right this time. Cincinnati Bengals at the Cowboys. What do you guess the line there?
No Dak. No Dak. It's so tough.
No Dak. Terrible offensive line.
What I would feel comfortable betting? I would feel comfortable betting Bengals minus 8.5, 7.5. No joke.
You're right in the middle. It's -8.
Yeah,
you're right there.
I would feel good with that, and honestly, I'd be okay buying more. I'm going to be insanely bullish on it, though, in saying if you want to get some good plus money odds, go over 10.
Yeah.
Burrow got the cobwebs off. He heard the critics. They were still able to come away. They ended up tying in that game, did they not?
They did, yeah. Well, no, they ended up winning.
They won, yeah. They won on the last second. So you're telling me that the AFC
No, the Steelers won. The Steelers won that game.
On the kick, yes. They should have challenged the one with Jamar, though, and they could have had something there. Listen, he threw 4 picks, and they were still in that game.
Yeah.
He's not doing that
That's
again.
the story. I mean, that is absolutely the story.
He's not going to do that again.
Yeah.
They're going to bounce back, and with Dallas having a Cooper Rush right now, I'm sorry. It's just going to be ugly. It's going to be bad. Mike McCarthy's season, I feel bad for him. I do, because I don't think that he is the best X and O guy in the world, and I know Kellen Moore is the guy who's handled that offense. Even with Dak, they were bland. They were bad. But now it's just another year where he might be able to be lucky and just say, well, my quarterback's hurt.
I think at the end of the day, this is look, I said it when they hired McCarthy that I thought he was kind of too bland of a offensive mind, and I thought they should have gone another direction. I didn't love the hire to begin with. Kellen Moore was a guy that I thought was going to be good, and I think I knew last year. I feel like we probably even knew the year before that the offense just doesn't have enough in it. And I will stand on that. I don't understand why they kept Kellen Mond this year in the offseason, especially with McCarthy knowing this is his last year, probably, if it doesn't go the right way for him. Do I feel bad?
Probably
I guess.
Because Jerry told him you get next.
Yeah, I don't think that was smart. I think Jerry's over. I think he's got his hands a little bit too much in the coaching side of things. He is so good at bringing. I mean, the talent on the field isn't quite as good as it has been in years past, but overall, he's done good drafting and done really well bringing in talent. But man, I'm very disappointed with the coaching staff, the scheme, all of those things. Dan Quinn on the other side of the ball, I guess I did like what he did with, I think, less talent on that defensive side of the ball. But overall, yeah, I'm disappointed in the Cowboys.
They held Brady.
I don't think they have a great scheme, and I don't think they have the players to make they don't have the players to make a scheme better than it was. So not anymore. So yeah, I think Bengals are a good call there. Last two games on Sunday: Houston Texans at Broncos.
At Broncos.
Mile High.
Denver lost. Texans put up a good fight.
So let's double this. Let's double this up because I'm going to tell you the line is the exact same. You're way off on 4.5. The line is the exact same for the Sunday night game, which is the Bears at the Packers. It's the exact same line.
Both at 6.5, 7.5.
No.
Cheaper. Higher. No. There's no way.
They're both. Where do you think they'd both be at?
There's no way that they put them up.
And what's crazy is the teams that are the major underdog, neither of them lost last week. One tied and one won.
That's what I was about to say. Is that the Bears
and the Broncos and the Packers both lost last week?
Yeah,
they're both favored by 10 points.
10?
10.
Holy crap!
10.
I was gonna give you some and say 8. I was dead wrong on that.
I just need you to see this. Yeah, I'm not crazy.
Bovada be different right there. Listen, I'm not gonna listen. I love you guys. It's cool. You put your odds at wherever you want.
I like those odds though. I mean, I moved it over so you could see.
I want both underdogs.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. Plus 10.
I want both, and I would feel comfortable in that. And I'm not saying that the Texans are going to win. I'm not saying the Bears are going to win. But the Packers look sluggish, and knowing that they don't have as many dynamic down the field weapons in what it is, they're going to play some close ball. Justin Fields showed fight.
Do we think the Bears winning in a monsoon, having it was the perfect conditions as far as slowing down the more explosive team?
Yeah.
But the Packers aren't even in the same ballpark of explosive as far as like what we've seen on the field so far. That's interesting, man. Like, of course, I definitely think the Packers and Broncos win this game.
Yeah.
But win these games, excuse me. But yeah, it's tough to think that those lines are right.
It's the same thing though, to where if we're sitting at the start of the second and the Packers are up 3-0.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good about that. Same
sure.
thing for the Texans Broncos. Any points the Texans get on their first drive, I feel damn good about that. Yeah. I think whenever you're betting against 10 points like that, you can fall behind so quick based on a bad bounce, a bad pick, a bad drive, a bad third down, coming out sluggish on the other team, whatever the case may be.
It's a lot of points.
If I had to pick one of those to cover, it would be the Packers. Yeah. Because like you said, the Bears, I think, are roster-wise a bottom. Yeah. And Aaron Rodgers is your daddy.
That's the big thing is Aaron Rodgers is your daddy.
Yeah, he's your daddy, and you're not beating him.
Yeah.
No, that's
a rough one.
He's Papa.
I do agree with that. I think the Bears are the one that, and I don't know, Houston Texans Broncos. That's a tough one for me too, because like I definitely see a world where that happens. But I agree. I think that game could be a lot closer than we're talking about.
Do you have any comment on Nathaniel Hackett's choice to run out that clock, keep your $256 million arm, and not go for it? Like,
you know, I hate to be Monday morning or Tuesday morning, whatever morning quarterback and say that was a dumb call. I think we both agree that it made no sense to me. Watching that drive, I was 100% certain that the Broncos were going to win that game, and I think they would have ultimately won that game if given the opportunity to go for it. I mean, I've seen Russell Wilson convert that so many times,
and he did that game.
I refuse to believe that he wouldn't this time. You got to think it was just a weird series where, you know, Jerry Jeudy had a very easy drop for a first down. I don't think it was that same series, but in that drive in general, had that drop. Javonte Williams had two passes, check down passes where he cuts inside for a couple more yards when he could have gone outside. Could have
saved clock.
Could have saved clock. It made no sense to me. The second one made more sense to me because I guess Javonte knew the line they were going for and they got to it. The conversation must have been had at some point that they felt good about it. Obviously, it was a mistake. Obviously, I think Nathaniel Hackett wishes he could have that back. I don't want to crucify and say he's a terrible coach for missing on that one decision. If he makes it, none of us are talking about it. No, I think that's the big thing that I can kind of say.
It was just the assumption that you can go kick a 64-yarder. That is beyond leg. Yeah. I mean, now, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's tough because it's like, okay, if it were like 4th and 15, I understand. If it were at the end of the game and, you know, or if it was 4th and 5 and there was like 4 seconds left on the clock, or, you know, maybe 10 seconds left on the clock when you snap it, or even like, you know, 10 seconds left, no timeouts, you're on 4th and 5 in that exact same situation. Yeah, it makes sense, because even if you get a playoff, there's scenarios where you don't get it, right? Like you don't get another play down. But in that situation, you had a minute when Javonte Williams hit the ground on that 3rd down play at 4th and 5. They had over a minute left in the clock
and a timeout,
3 timeouts.
And you're telling me that there's no world where Russell can't extend the play with his legs. You can't draw up a play. I just there's
the real thing of, you had 3 timeouts. We know what the Seahawks are probably going to do if they don't convert on 4th down. Seahawks get the ball, timeout. You still have a lesser chance, but you still have an outside chance of getting that ball back and maybe having another chance at a deep field goal. That's when you probably go for that deep field goal.
I feel like it says a lot as a whole for the way that he's going to run the team forward, and saying, yes, Russ is going to play good. They're going to be good. I really do think that you keep him out on the field for that, though.
Yeah.
4th and 5, you're an offensive mind. You have a better team, the better arm.
Yeah.
Been hitting all game.
Yeah.
You make it.
All right, let's get with 2 games on Monday night. Very strange. One's at 6:15 and one's at 7:30. So they're gonna play over each other.
My Vikings.
Yeah, we'll talk about the 6:15 game first. Titans at Buffalo Bills.
They're gonna get killed.
What's the line?
Buffalo has been itching for revenge on the Titans from I think 2 years coming. Nah, maybe 3. 6.5 Buffalo.
10 again.
What?
3 games at 10. Yeah.
Good God.
I think that's. I wouldn't. I don't know, man.
I feel. I mean, I get it. Titans banged up defense. Where are they going to stop?
Fucking touch it, man. I couldn't touch it. That's so tough for me.
Derrick Henry's
going to slow the game down, at least.
He's Buffalo's papa. He really is.
Yeah, he's run over him.
He's the great equalizer of hit. I think he has, other than Jacksonville. Oh my God, he is the Antichrist for Jacksonville. He just decimates them. But he puts up 150 plus against Buffalo.
Yeah, he's Buffalo's papa. Let's talk about the Eagles' papa this week, which is Justin Jefferson. Excuse me.
Yeah, but the Eagles own us historically.
No, but Justin Jefferson is the Eagles' papa. That is going to be a sore spot for Eagles fans for a long time, with Justin Jefferson going 1 pick after.
And we have the other guy.
Yeah, you have the other guy now.
We got both.
I would love to see him get the touchdown. Like, I
hope they do
against the Eagles. That'd be great.
Our coach knows.
Yeah. So what do you think that line is? And I guess you probably know. You might know this one now.
It's at Soda, right?
It is it was with the Eagles.
That's scary.
Is that Soda Stadium? Is that what they're?
No, Minnesota.
Okay.
It's Soda.
I'm a fucking idiot.
It's at Soda.
You said Soda. First of all, it's in Philly. You said Soda. I was like, oh, is their name Soda Stadium?
God damn.
I'm a fucking idiot.
Bro, thank God no one listens to the 56-minute mark. Holy shit. If you did, you're welcome. You're welcome. Someone out there, please just leave a comment and let me know that you're here. I swear to God, I'm alone out here sometimes in this world. Soda, Minnesota, not fucking Soda Stadium.
So yeah, they play at Soda Stadium.
What the fuck just happened? All right.
What do you think the Eagles are favored by?
Favored? Oh, that's bullshit.
What do you think the Vikings are favored by?
It should be Vikings favored, but it's probably Philly by 1.5 or 2.
No, 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5.
I'm sorry I gave it away.
No,
what would you honest guess?
I was right around that. I think Vikings should be favored in the coin flip.
Yeah. I agree that's a coin flip. And they're both teams, in my opinion, both teams that, like, from a personnel standpoint, should take a big step this year. From a football standpoint, have historically underperformed when there are expectations put on them. So I look at these teams very similarly.
It's Monday night.
7:30.
Philly. Well, I get it. You know what? I get it.
Kirk Cousins. We know what's happening here, guys.
I get it.
Kirk Cousins 2 interceptions. That's the easiest prop bet ever. Is Kirk Cousins going to throw an interception?
Geniuses. Yeah, they know what's going to happen in that fucking shit game. I'm mad now. It's Monday night. Well, Kurt.
Good thing the Super Bowl is only played on like a Sunday afternoon. It's nobody watches.
Yeah,
not a big
games
stage.
Too, right?
Yeah.
Man. Okay, well, I take back everything I said about being happy about my team. Now, I do think though that this is the earliest fork in the road where you can get for two teams that have very undefined paths.
Yeah.
When it comes to, can Minnesota dethrone the Packers as a whole? I think talent and roster-wise, yes, it showed that. It's just a matter of, can we keep it going? Do we peak too soon? Can that defense stay healthy? They have a lot of history of getting banged up on that defensive front. When that falls head over heels, then our corners get exposed.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Philly now has just a wide open safety net road, it seems, to take this division.
Right? Yeah,
I mean,
you get to play the Cowboys twice, you get to play Washington twice, and you get to play the Giants twice.
And you're already
This is going to
1-0.
be the most overrated, probably 2 seed, 3 seed
They
in the league.
easily could be 10 and 11 wins. You also already beat the Lions. You get to play the Bears too.
Easily. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
The Eagles schedule wise is looking really, really nice. Now I don't know how many of those games are versus Dak. Like, do they get the Cowboys anytime soon? That's a good question. I don't know the answer to.
Dak was optimistic that he can be back in 4 weeks.
No, it's not happening. There's no way.
I would hope not. Has he not? He's been hurt so much, man. He had to learn. Just take a minute.
Didn't
right?
we just see this with Russell Wilson like 2 years ago? Was it last year or 2 years ago when he hurt his hand?
I think it was. No, yeah, it wasn't last year because last year was the MVP wheels fell off year, right?
Yeah.
Before that, I think he was.
So they'll play the Cowboys with Dak on December 24th. Almost guaranteed he'll be there by then. Probably not going to have Dak October 16th when they play at Soda Stadium.
That's a good one.
That'll be interesting. Man, they also get the Jaguars.
Cardinals, so I don't think are good.
I don't think the Cardinals are good. Yeah, so they get the Jaguars,
Titans
Colts,
at
and
home.
Houston. Man, they got the two easiest. They got the AFC South that has some fairly easy games. They got their own division that's probably the worst in football, and then they got your division that has two games very winnable.
Bad,
yeah. I mean, no offense to the Lions, who I think they just beat. They played. Lions played tough.
Great fight.
Yeah, they were outman, I think, from a talent perspective. I think that was the big difference there.
Eagles gonna be 10 wins.
I think
10 wins bounced in the first. What do you think?
I could see them being 12 wins. I give them a loss this week. Well, no, it's a Monday night, so we know Kirk Cousins isn't showing up.
Yeah.
So I say even we'll give them the win.
How about this? How many are they not the favorite in going ahead?
Yeah, so they're the favorite against the Vikings. They're going to be the favorite against the Commanders. We're going down week by week here, just real quick to end this pod.
Favorite against the Jags. Favorite against the Cards.
Probably favorite against the Cowboys without Dak for sure. Probably fair. I mean, the Steelers are underdogs versus who are they?
As long as Trubisky's in there right now, yeah, they're the underdogs against the Patriots right now.
Yeah, so
Eagles would be the favorite against the
for
Pats,
sure.
Pretty close.
Favorite against Texans. Favorite against Commanders again. Now, granted,
underdogs against the Colts.
We are making huge assumptions on these teams being what they think they're going to be.
Yes.
Like, understand that there's a lot of
Washington
things that could change.
roll into that game 4-0, and it's like,
But
okay.
looking at it right now, they might not be favored against the Colts. They might not be favored against the Packers. But I think, like, this week, would they be? I don't know.
That's their stretch, November 20th to December the 4th. You circle the Colts, Packers, and Titans.
Yeah, that's
That
your
is your-
stretch.
and that's
though.
your stretch.
That's your stretch. You got some cupcake games, and then after that, you get Giants, Bears, Cowboys, and then you end it with the Saints and Giants. I mean, if it goes right for the Saints, maybe they're not favored against the Saints. But yeah, this is just. That's a cupcake schedule.
3 games that we said maybe 4 where they're not the favorite.
Man,
wow.
go get the fantasy assets from the Eagles. Go get whatever you can, because man, I just think that's a schedule I want to be a part of. That really is. Jalen Hurts and fantasy's looking good. It is. All right. We'll wait. Do you want to do a quick teaser? Or I have 3 in the bet slip right now.
What you got?
Let's let me change it down here. I'm going to do this real quick.
The way that I would do it then is, I mean, there was a couple 10-point games. I might want to flirt with it and sell a few points. And
so, so we're going to do a teaser here. Right now, I have Raiders minus 5.5 against the Cardinals, down to just basically winning. I feel very good about that. I took the Bengals down to being close with the Cowboys, and then I took the Saints at plus 8.5 versus the Bucks. I feel good about all of those.
Damn,
do you like that?
That's a really good tease. I like that a lot.
All right, so let's add one more just to make it a more profitable tease, because right now it's at plus 150. Yeah. I like having that 4 teaser. That's what I like to do. And my thing isn't working. I don't know why.
Maybe I was looking at the Chargers. I mean, I like the Chargers at plus 4.5. I really do.
All right. Technical difficulties, guys. I'm sorry. 1 second here. This is fun to watch.
Hit your refresh button.
Is it not working because I had a bet slip open?
I don't know. Out of those lines, though, I mean, I do like the.
I mean, I would
throw the Chargers on there, and if you're already buying 5 points, that puts the Chargers
6.5.
10.5 point favorite.
Man, I agree with that. Yeah,
and you get something fun to watch on Thursday night too.
that's a good point. And then you're risking. I would never bet $50, but risking $50 for 130. That's not bad. That's not bad at 260.
You have a lot of ways to cover.
I won my teaser last week. I really wouldn't mind betting that as well.
I lost mine on Thursday, so I didn't have to watch the rest. I said the Rams.
Well, that was I thought. I believed in that. I didn't bet it,
closer.
but yeah, for sure. All right. I guess we'll call it right there. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. Thank you so much to Underdog Podcast for hosting us. Anything you want to say?
No, Skull.
Soda Stadium.